Hey, what's happening? In this particular video, I want to talk just a little bit about pricing and what you should be charging and things like that. I've watched a lot of you guys' videos, and a lot of you have been saying, you shouldn't charge, any less than what you're worth, and don't let brides talk you into, scaling down your prices and things like that. Well, I agree with that, because you know what? If you do that one time to a bride, word's going to get around that you're negotiable on your prices, and you don't want to be that way. Now, if you got a friend or something like that, you want to charge them a little less, yeah, go ahead and do that. But I mean, I'm talking about just in general. I know you want to help out the brides and grooms, but I'll tell you how I handle situations like that. Okay, let me just talk to you a little bit about my rates. Now, here in Pensacola, Florida, the average for DJs is about $500 for a 3-hour reception. Now, I realize maybe in some other areas it's probably a lot more, maybe a lot less in some other areas, but about $500 is what you're going to pay for a reception with all the wedding traditions and all that stuff, and a good professional DJ with good sound equipment. $500 for about 3 hours is what you're going to charge. Now, me personally, I charge just a little bit more than that. I charge $525 for the first 3 hours, then $75 each additional hour. But right now I'm running a special. I'm going to explain the special to you. Right now the brides can get up to 8 hours for $550. Okay, now you're thinking, okay, well, why would you want to play for 8 hours? Well, first of all, most of the brides never use the 8 hours anyway. Okay, but let me just explain that to you. This is what I tell my brides, and it's a good selling point for them. Okay, when you do little specials like that. Okay, now I know most brides won't take 8 hours, but you know what they like having? They like having the fact of knowing that they're not going to be charged the regular overtime fees if they go over 3 hours. You see what I'm saying? So, and see, this is what's helped me out a lot. Okay, let's just say that I wasn't running a special, and let's say I was maybe able to book like say 4-hour gigs, like maybe about 2 or 3 4-hour gigs at $600. Okay, well you do the math on that. But what if I was able to book like say 12, 13, 14 at $550? Well, which am I going to come out ahead on? Okay, you're probably going to be coming out ahead running that special. I've actually booked a lot of gigs by doing that special, but I'm really not shortchanging myself because, still, I mean, the average wedding reception lasts between 3 and 5 hours. I've never had a bride and groom go all the way up to 8 hours, but they like having that cushion. You see what I'm saying? And they look at that as a good deal. And, hey, if it's helping me book a lot of gigs by doing it that way, when if I could, like I said, if I can book like, say 16 or 17 weddings as opposed to 3 or 4 that I'd be charging at the regular price, well, I've come out ahead on that one. So I look at that as a good thing. Now, let's talk a little bit about the brides, who may be looking at my prices and saying, oh, well, $525 for 3 hours, that's quite a lot, or $550 for 8 hours. I don't think I want that too much. I don't really want all the wedding traditions and things like that. We're really just wanting music and dancing. So here's what I do for that. I offer a party alternative, an after-ceremony party. And I start that out at $405. And what's the difference, you may ask? Well, the main difference is that with an after-ceremony party, that's what it is. It's an after-ceremony party, not a wedding reception. I'll do a quick introduction of the bride and groom, but we don't line the wedding party up and do a full introduction of the wedding party or anything like that. There's no bouquet throw, there's no garter toss, there's no spotlight dances or anything like that. It's basically a party after the ceremony. And, they're not going to get the full wedding traditions like the cake cutting and all that stuff. It's basically a party with more emphasis on dancing as opposed to traditional wedding events. And I've had a few brides that really like that idea because a lot of them really aren't into doing all the traditions like all the spotlight dances, things like that. They want to just have just a party with dancing and time to socialize with their friends after the ceremony. So that's an alternative that I do offer. But now most brides do want to do the the regular full-time wedding reception with all the traditions, the first dances, all that stuff. Most of them normally want that, but I do have some that don't really want that, so I'll offer that as an alternative, and that helps them out. I mean, they still get me dressed in a tuxedo, they still get the sound system, the light show, all that stuff. They get everything except the traditional wedding events that would normally happen at a regular wedding reception. So I just offer that kind of as an alternative for those brides that are on a budget or who don't really want all the traditions. They can still have a great event, but but if they wanted all the wedding traditions, they're gonna have to pay extra for it. Or pay the regular wedding reception rate for it. So anyway, that's just my 2 cents on that. So yeah, definitely don't let them try to shortchange you into charging less than what you're really worth, because we do work hard for what we do, and we need to be getting paid what we're worth even in these tough economic times. Okay, so that's just my little 2 cents on that. Got any questions or comments? Feel free to drop them down here. You know what to do. Practice and enjoy.